Oh, where are my media friends? Oh, where could they be? Hello? Hello? Is anyone out there? Can anybody hear me? Where are you, Deadspin? Did ESPN close for the day yesterday? Where is Dennis the Menace from ESPN, that goofy looking guy from around the horn who is taking puberty blockers to keep his appearance as a prepubescent boy? Where is Max Kellerman? No, seriously. Where is Max Kellerman? What happened to him? Is he still a breathing, birthing person? I have not seen or heard from Max since Stephen A. Smith filed for divorce, banishing his former lover to the woke dungeon in the basement of ESPN's Woke U campus in Bristol. Speaking of Stephen A. Smith, he sure does seem quiet. Normally, Stephen A. is loud, brash, in your face. I'm a proud fighter for the black man. Yeah, if I remember correctly, you told the black man, my brothers, you need not apply for this job with the Houston Texans. They don't treat black people fairly. I guess DeMeco Ryans refused to listen to Stephen A. Smith. Last month, the mainstream media expressed their fake outrage over the Houston Texans firing Lovie Smith. This is racism! NFL teams never give the black man a chance! The Texans sacrificed Lovie Smith so they could hire an evil white man to manage the slaves who make millions of dollars every year. Now, of course, the exact opposite was true. Lovie Smith, he was actually an example of affirmative action in practice. The Texans didn't give him the job because he was the most qualified. I'm sure Lovie Smith is a nice guy. He is well respected in the NFL, but he's also a proven loser as a head coach. The dude couldn't win at the college level. Houston last year, they wanted to hire Josh McCown, but I believe they were pressured by the NFL front office to give the job to Lovie Smith. Another case of a powerful sports league bowing to pressure from the mainstream media, assuming the desired position for proper insertion. When the Texans fired Lovie Smith after his 8th consecutive losing season as a head coach, there was plenty of fake outrage in the media. The story remained in the news cycle for 36, 48 hours. Stephen A. Smith throwing out claims of mythical racism. Stephen A., along with Deadspin, claimed black head coaches should refuse to take the job in Houston. Just the other day, Karen Phillips at Deadspin wrote an article complaining about there only being 2 black head coaches in the NFL with 2 black quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl. Now you would think, with the Houston Texans hiring DeMeco Ryans, the Butt Bongo invitations would be filling inboxes. But it's strange. There seems to be this eerie silence all of a sudden when it comes to claims of mythical racism in the NFL. Just to give you a refresher, let me show you some of the media reactions last month after the Texans fired Lovie Smith. To the surprise of no one, both clips I'm about to share with you are courtesy of the shit fuckery provided by the worldwide leader in woke. Roll the clips.
It's clearly wrong and unfair that he was fired after 1 year. Cully fired after 1 year. The Houston Texans organization, I'm going to say something loud and clear over the national airwaves, and I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. African Americans need not apply. This is not an organization that has been fair to African Americans as far as I'm concerned. And I have these 2 as an example. You could use Romeo Crennel and the kind of situation they put him in the past. I don't like this organization.
Yeah, I'm going to focus on the Texans here. This is why there's so much skepticism about hiring black coaches in the NFL. This is Lovie Smith, the second coach in a row for the Texans that was fired after the first year without much, equipment to do anything with that team. There was a dead-end job. And we know that McNair did not really want Lovie Smith for that job. He wanted Josh McCown, and they picked Lovie Smith because of the Brian Flores lawsuit. And so now you get to hire the coach that you want, probably Josh McCown, with the new quarterback coming up, and you get to give him years and years because you say you're developing somebody new. Meanwhile, the black coaches got kicked off the organization.
I could sit here for the next hour showing you guys screenshots of the fake outrage on Twitter. Beauty queens like Jamel Hill. Oh, Jamel Hill. Ooh. Beauty queens like Jamel Hill claiming the NFL is biased against black coaches. I'm sure if I borrowed the woke shovel, dug through Talbert Swan's Twitter feed, I could find plenty of examples of him accusing the Texans of mythical racism. You just heard Dennis the Menace say it. The Texans fired Lovie Smith so they could go out and get the coach they really wanted this entire time, Josh McCown. Huh. Did Josh McCown get a super tan? Did he change colors? Did he change names? Did he wake up yesterday morning choosing to identify as a black man? Because I'm pretty confident I saw a bald black dude standing behind that podium yesterday afternoon who identified as DeMeco Ryans. I spent about 30 minutes this morning reading through reactionary articles to the Texans hiring DeMeco Ryans. Now, just to be clear, this is the third consecutive hire by the Texans of a black head coach. If you want to consider the interim opportunity they gave Romeo Crennel, this would be the fourth. The Houston Texans have hired 6 head coaches in the history of the franchise. Half of them, 50% of them, have been black men. Let me get this straight. 3 weeks ago, there was a media-wide war against the Houston Texans, accusing them of mythical racism. How can the Texans be racist with half of their coaching hires being black men? Where are all the retractions? Where are the editor's notes on these articles stating that the Texans were falsely accused? We're never going to see them. Not because the media is afraid to admit when they get something wrong. Yesterday, the Washington Post, they issued a retraction, or a clarification, I should say, after they blatantly misrepresented a law that Ron DeSantis passed in Florida. I guess that article wasn't proofread by the queen of misinformation, Tay Lorenz. We're not going to see clarifications, though, when it comes to the Houston Texans. Why? Because it was never about facts to begin with. It was never about the truth. When it comes to the NFL, it's always about the perception. I have been telling you guys for years, the mainstream media is at war with the NFL. I just finished reading the memoir of Stephen A. Smith. It was one of the best autobiographies that I've ever read. Learning about his upbringing, his relationship with his father, it gave me a new perspective of Stephen A. Smith. But even with that being the case, I tend to lose some respect for him when it comes to mythical racism. Multiple times throughout the book, Stephen A. Smith claims that he is not afraid to admit when he gets something wrong. He was accused of mythical racism for his remarks about Shohei Ohtani a couple of years ago. He admitted he was wrong, even though he wasn't wrong. He's been falsely accused twice of pitting black women against each other. Once was with Ayesha Curry and LeBron James' wife. Just last month, they accused him of pitting Rihanna and Beyonce against each other. Every single time, his brothers and sisters from Woke United Methodist accuse him of violating the woke commandments. Stephen A. Smith goes on the apology tour. Oh, my lovers, I'm so sorry. I have plenty of preparation, H. Please punish me with pleasure. When Stephen A. is accused of fake violations, he's quick to apologize. My question is, where is his apology to the Houston Texans? You accuse this franchise of mistreating black men. You accuse them of racism, which used to be a heavy accusation, but there have been so many accusations made of false claims of racism in the last couple of years, the accusations no longer have any impact. No one believes it. Unless I missed it on Woke Take this morning, I did not hear Stephen A. Smith issue an apology. Checked his Twitter, nothing. It's like these false accusations never happened. I at least thought Stephen A. would congratulate DeMeco Ryans. I at least thought he would be thrilled to see another black coach in the NFL, but no, it's silence. And look, Stephen A. Smith, he is not the only one that owes the Texans an apology. He was not the only one throwing false accusations. Guess how ESPN chose to cover the hiring of DeMeco Ryans? They uploaded a video to YouTube titled, "Is DeMeco Ryans the right hire for the Texans?" You have been complaining for years about the lack of black head coaches in the NFL. Then, when one of them gets hired, you question if he's the right man for the job? ESPN, they also published an article about the hiring of DeMeco Ryans. Guess how many times they mentioned race in this article? It takes about 5 minutes to read it. Guess how many times race was mentioned? 0. None. Why? Because this has absolutely nothing to do with race. NFL teams, they have different hiring standards than ESPN. ESPN, they have quotas to meet. Do you own an emotional support shovel? Hired. Are you currently transitioning from Mel to Jamel? Hired. Are you proficient in the butt bongo? Hired and promoted. Completely different in the National Football League. NFL teams, they have this unique way of hiring coaches. They hire coaches who are the most qualified. They hire coaches who best fit the culture of the franchise. They hire coaches that they're familiar with. You want to know why DeMeco Ryans got this job in Houston? Besides the fact that he was a great defensive coordinator, besides the fact the Niners had one of the best defenses in the league the last couple of years, you know why they hired DeMeco Ryans? He spent 7 years playing in Houston. He's familiar with the organization familiar with him. Same reason the Colts hired Jeff Saturday midway through the season. Race never enters the equation. It has nothing to do with race. If you don't believe me, take the word of Nick Caserio, general manager of the Texans. At his end of the season press conference a few weeks ago, some shitfuck in the media asked him, "Why should any black man trust you? You fired 2 innocent black men in the span of 12 months. You are clearly a racist organization." Nick Caserio replied back, "Potential candidates, they had their own choice to make. In the end, it ain't about race to us. It's about hiring quality coaches." The only people who believe the NFL is racist are sitting in press rooms. They're sitting on sets at ESPN. And to be honest with you, I don't think most of them believe it. They're just paid to spread the fungus. They are paid to further the narrative. Do I think Stephen A. Smith actually believes the NFL is biased against black coaches, black men? No. But when he receives that $500,000 check every 2 weeks, his mind suddenly changes. The media in this country is absolutely useless. What used to be a reliable source of information has now become nothing but false accusations, fake outrage, and propaganda. If I were the Houston Texans, I would refuse to speak to every media outlet that falsely accused me of mythical racism, falsely accused me of mistreating black men. Now, of course, if they did that, there would be no media outlets covering the Texans, which sounds like a win-win to me. But give me your thoughts. The mainstream media spent days accusing the Texans of mythical racism, but when they hired DeMeco Ryans, the media strangely silent when it comes to race. It's like the false accusations just never happened. Give me your thoughts. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.